Let's talk about Loudoun County. Now, this is insane. I've been talking about Loudoun County for, a while now because they've been having controversy. Parents have been stepping up to go fight the school boards, which are trying to push critical race theory and trans policies into their schools when they clearly have issues with it. Now, they've been denying it. They've been denying it for a long time, that there's no example of any sort of bad things happening by having a inclusive bathrooms of whatever. Well, it turns out that is completely false, completely and utterly. Loudoun County schools accused of failing to report multiple alleged sexual assaults over several years in apparent violation of the law. They've been hiding this for years. It's not just that one incident that the guy got arrested for. It's been happening for years. This is crazy. Already under fire for allegedly concealing 2 sexual assaults from the public, Loudoun County Public Schools in Virginia are now accused of failing to report multiple known incidents of alleged sexual assault in schools despite a state law that requires such reporting. So it turns out that they were trying to claim, now I talked about this the other day, they were trying to claim that it's illegal because they're minors. They're not allowed to discuss anything that happens. Well, that turned out to be wrong. Virginia law mandates that reports shall be made to the division superintendent and to the principal and his designee. I don't know how to say that. And on all incidents involving sexual assault. But according to the Daily Wire, LCPS has in at least 3 instances failed to report statistics on sexual assaults to the public database administered by Virginia Department of Education. That was set up so that the schools can comply with the law. Earlier this week, the Daily Wire first reported that the school officials in Loudoun County never disclosed to the public that a 9th grade girl was allegedly sexually assaulted by a gender-fluid male student in a... That's kind of funny how it's a gender-fluid student or a gender-fluid male student. By a male student in the school restroom in May. This was the same male student allegedly assaulted another girl in a different school later in October. Well, it turns out the guy that was arrested was her father, and that's why he was there in the first place, to stop them from making these stupid policies that was allowing this kind of thing to happen to his own daughter. I can't believe that the dude didn't go ballistic on these people. Like, talk about restraint of that man. And they don't even mention here that the school quietly moved the gender fluid male student, as they put here on the Blaze article, to a different school where he then, of course, did it again. Right? You didn't know about this until Daily Wire broke the story. Shout out to Daily Wire. They're fantastic. The 15-year-old male student has been charged in 2 alleged sexual assaults in Loudoun County schools, one in May and one in October. Although the school now acknowledges that the incidents occurred, the Daily Wire found that LCPS reported to the state database that Stonebridge High School had 0 sexual assaults for the 2020-21 year, which includes May 28th, 2021, the date of the first alleged assault. Also, the school failed to report a case from October in 2018, in which 3 football players at Tuscarora High School were arrested and charged with sexual assault. The case, which was widely publicized at the time, involved a younger player who was held down by teammates who inserted objects into the victim in a locker room. That year, Tuscarora did not report any instances of sexual offenses against students to Virginia Public Database, as required by law. It is unknown how many other cases of sexual assaults have gone unreported by LCPS. Now that is what I want to know, right? This is what we're finding out from just the beginning of them starting to go, oh snaps, like were we supposed to report that? And everyone's like, well, let me cross-examine what these parents are saying is happening to these actual police reports that aren't allowed to have the names, but it turns out specifically the one in May where the father got arrested for trying to stop them from making these policies, that corresponds perfectly with a police report. So it leads you to believe that actually happened and it turns out it was. And now they're apologizing. Now they're going on, oh man, did we do that? No, I'm not joking. Loudoun School Superintendent, we failed to provide safe environment after assaults. You knew it. You knew that there was an assault happening. You knew that there was someone that was doing that, and you quietly moved him to a different school to try to sweep it under the rug. And guess what? The person did it again. That's on you, 100%, Loudoun School Superintendent. You were supposed to disclose this information. He responds Friday after parents were outraged with how the school handled report of 2 sexual assaults inside schools. In the statement, Ziegler said, although the school complied with obligations under Title IX about how schools must investigate allegations of sexual harassment and assault in schools, so it equally protects both victims and alleged perpetrators, it wasn't enough. First, let me say to the families that my heart aches for you, and I'm sorry that we failed to provide the safe, welcoming, and affirming environment that we aspire to provide. I don't believe this man at all. I don't care. I don't believe these lies. I don't think he's actually sorry. I think he was told, you got to go do something and say, I mean, it's their fault. They did this because they quietly moved this guy to another school. Whoever the victim was, not that they watch my show, but you have every right to blame, and you should be suing this company or this school superintendent for just moving that guy to a different school to then assault the person. That's insane. Now they're resigning. Look at this. Loudoun County School Board member resigns following Daily Wire investigation. So it turns out they knew that they were doing stuff wrong. They knew that they were hiding this stuff to try to push this trans policy. And by the way, I just feel like I need to add, look, I'm not against trans people at all. You want to be trans? I don't care. You do you. Don't mess with me. It's fine. But when people, this is what I've been saying. People will take advantage of it. Men identifying as women to go into women's prisons, or the fact that biological males have an advantage in sports, even if they identify and go through hormone blockers. There's a study that came out that proved it. Okay? And we've got situations like this, which is with kids. Don't mess with kids. All right? There's kids that are, there's actual horrible people on this planet. Always. There always will be horrible people. You have to understand that. Not everyone is going to be sunshine and rainbows. There are terrible human beings out there that want to rape others. And it exists. All right? And they're going to use this as a reason to be able to get into a woman's bathroom and sexually assault them. And that's what we're seeing. And you covered it up, Loudoun. And now she's resigning, this woman. What's her name? Beth Bartz. Beth Bartz, a far-left member of Loudoun County School Board, has resigned from her position. First elected in 2019, Bartz has been criticized by parent groups over critical race theory and transgender policies in the school system. Her resignation, which will take effect November 2nd, 2021, staves off an ongoing recall attempt. This was not an easy decision or a decision made in haste. After much thought and careful consideration, it is the right decision for me and my family. It is the right decision for the kids that you were affecting, or the parents that you, in fact, helped put on this domestic terrorism list. I'm not joking. This woman, where is it? Beth Bartz. Bartz had a reputation of lashing out at parents who either questioned what she called equity agenda. Equity agenda. You can imagine how that worked out. Or advocated for the reopening of schools. Parents wanted their kids to go to schools. They wanted their kids to work hard for what they earned. Equity of outcome. This woman is a Marxist. She's pushing this ideology that we've been talking about. According to the leader of the school board, or of the parents board, Azra Nomani, that Beth Bartz was a ringleader of Chardonnay Antifa, oppressing parents like Scott Smith. Yep. Good riddance. You shouldn't be anywhere near any sort of decision that has to do with children. Period. She should be cut off. Equity agenda. What? Just those two words together. My goodness. The equity agenda. Wow. Okay? I believe in meritocracy. I believe in a person's character. Okay? That's what we should be focused on. Okay? We shouldn't be teaching that people need to be treated differently based on the color of their skin, or that period, right? I mean, that just the fact that they move outside of that bubble is crazy. Equity, my. All right, I've said enough. I do want to add that Steven Crowder actually got a hard strike for talking about this story. Now, I did the exact same story on YouTube, and I didn't get a strike. So thank you, YouTube, for not giving me a strike. Granted, Crowder's a lot more... Oh, what's the word for Crowder? He's spicy, right? I mean, I try to maintain... I'm obviously biased. Everyone is biased. Don't let them try to convince you that they're not biased. Everyone has a bias, even the people sitting in the middle. All right? Everyone has a bias. And Crowder is just a little more bold with his. I try to at least maintain a optimistic, non-violent standpoint on all of the things that I talk about. Because I don't want violence. I'm against violence, and I'm against people abusing systems to take advantage of people to create victims. Like, victims exist. That guy's Scott Smith's daughter was a victim. And Loudoun County covered it up and tried to act like nothing was wrong. No, there's no... Trans kids can't do any harm. They can't break any laws. And if you do, if you say anything about it, you're a bigot. It reminds me of the whole David Chappelle. This whole... now you go on Netflix and it's like Chappelle stuff everywhere. But you listen to his stuff... And he makes fun of everyone. Everyone. No one is safe from David Chappelle. And I would be honored for him to make fun of me. And it would probably be hilarious, But these people can't even joke about themselves. Everything is offensive. You can't critique them. You can't call them out. Accountability? What? Of course not. It's always someone else's fault. I'm sick of that. I am sick of it. So it's, you know what? You got to admit, it's kind of nice that Loudoun County officials are being held responsible. Well, I don't know if this woman's resigning, if anything's going to happen to her, if she's going to be get in trouble for being part of the reason that this happened to these people. She created victims. She was demonizing the parents that were upset about it. So shame on you, Beth Bartz. Shame on you.